I finally have a fully repainted, fully restored twin-turbo 300ZX. When I picked it up, it was a total wreck, buried under almost a decade of neglect. And rebuilding this cheap twin-turbo 300ZX has been one of the toughest projects I've ever taken on. And only 3 years ago, I did my first engine pull, but through all these builds, I've learned one thing. People don't judge you by what you start, they judge you by what you finish. And after 7 months of late nights and neglecting nearly everything else in my garage, this is the moment the legend of this Z comes back to life. Which brings us to today, where all we have to do is finally put everything back together. I'm starting off by jumping right into the easy stuff. The first thing to go back on is the gas door. We painted the inside of the filler area and the inside of the door, and it's just held in with 2 bolts. From there, I started to assemble the mirrors. The 300ZX from factory comes with power and heated mirrors. So I cleaned and installed the power assembly back into the mirror. Then I pressed the top and bottom pieces back together and reattached it to the base, and finish it off by placing the mirror glass onto the motor assembly. I repeated the same process for both sides, and man, they look great. These have to go back on the car before I can reassemble the interior since the bolts are covered by the door panel. And I also made sure not to forget to plug in the electrical connector. Then I dusted some black paint onto the hood prop so I can reinstall it and hold open the hood while I line the front end. I placed some towels on the corner of the hood and used the hood prop to hold it in place while I installed the hardware. There's not much adjustment in the actual hood, so I figured this would be the best place to start when aligning the front end. I bought all new hardware for the fender, so I started threading those bolts in, as well as the new bump stop for the hood. Then I tightened it all down once I was happy with how it aligned. And since I bought a new center panel without the Nissan logo, I had to transfer all the hardware and seals from the original nose panel. There's a top and bottom seal, and this version of the nose panel actually doesn't use a secondary bracket, and most people delete it anyways to simplify the removal and installation. Now for the headlights, the passenger one was actually cracked from the accident, so I sourced a replacement set. I first cleaned them off really well with a pressure washer, and then I began to disassemble the original one so I could swap over all the better conditioned parts to the new set. The used set I bought just had much more of the hardware rusted and the rubber was rotted out, so I figured I'd use as little of it as possible. Then I reassembled it all after a good wipe down, and now I can test fit the lights. They fit in decent, but I could still see the passenger one was sucked down a little bit from the accident, so I just used some washers to shim it up. Then I tested the nose panel and closed the hood, and it was all looking pretty straight, so I moved on to the front bumper. Since the fenders were brand new, they didn't have any of the hardware, so I bought these plastic grommets on Amazon and they fit perfect. I added in the support brackets, then I began to tighten down all the hardware. But before I tightened it all the way down, I got the nose panel in just to make sure it all still aligned, and it did. And with the still in front lip test fitted on there, this front end looks so good and it all lined up fairly well. The only thing left were the turn signals. When I test fitted them, they wouldn't sit in properly, and at first I could not tell why. Then I realized they were being blocked by the larger intercoolers. So I took a hacksaw and I started cutting them, and I also used a Dremel. My plan was to flip the bulb section around so I can make room for the intercoolers. I plastic welded into place, and then I went to test fit them and they slid right in. So I used some epoxy plastic putty and I sealed them up, and now this front end is pretty much done. I put the washer jets back on and I replaced the front hood seal. And now I just took a step back and just enjoyed how iconic and sharp this front end was looking. Now we switched gears and moved on to the door handles. I cleaned up the gaskets and put them back onto the door handle, and then I also put the grommet for the door lock. To put it back in the car, you have to attach the lock cylinder, and then there's 2 rods, one for the latch and one for the lock. Once they're connected, it's just 2 10mm nuts to secure it. However, when I got to the driver's side, it was rubbing, so I sanded down the clear a little and quickly realized it wasn't going to work. So I took my Dremel and grinded in some clearance. But this meant I had to sand it all the way back down and repaint it. So I hit it with some self-etching primer, then we sprayed a few coats of base coat, and lastly finished it off with clear. Once it dried, it was time to put the door panels back on. They snap into place pretty easily, and then I installed the window switches and the seat belts. To finish off the interior, we have to reinstall the T-top bar, so I cleaned the area well. Then I put some sealant on the screws for the wind deflector and screwed them into place. I got new end caps from Z-Spec and I installed them. Then I just put some silicone around the studs that bolt to the car and I placed it on the roof. I bolted it in from the inside of the car using the 10mm nuts. Nissan didn't want this thing going anywhere, so there's 8 of them holding it in. Now I could install the rest of the headliner, which is just a few screws and the rear view mirror. And the last things to complete the headliner were the dome light and the sun visors. But before we reassemble the actual T-tops, I put the seals back on, which just press onto the flange. Now this next part is super important. 300ZXs are known for their T-tops leaking. And when I disassembled the T-tops, there was water intrusion and signs of rust, so I know that they weren't sealed well. And a lot of people just blame these rubber seals when their T-tops leak, when realistically there's actual water getting into the body of the T-top. The first step was to reattach the body panel to the glass. I used some double-sided PE tape along the flange. And if you remember, the plastic edges were eaten up, so I had some new ones 3D printed, and I put them back on using the same double-sided 3M tape. Then I pulled off the backing from the tape and pressed the panel onto the glass once it was aligned. I bought all new OEM trim from Nissan, and this is the next piece to go on. I put a little sealant around each hole for the trim piece, and I screwed it in from the underside. The next part is to glue these rubber corner seals to the panel and to the glass. I'm using 3M weather stripping glue on both sides and then pressed it together. And then they are held into place with one of the screws for the molding. Now it's time to put the guts back into these T-tops. I used waterproof clear silicone along the latch assembly, and then it's held into place using 5 screws. I carefully aligned it so I didn't get sealant everywhere, and then I bolted it back into place. And all that was left was to replace the cosmetic trim and latch cover. And then I put them back on the car as the glue dried just to put some extra pressure on it. And with the T-tops installed, it 100% confirmed my decision to paint the roof black. Now I had to make a tough decision on the trim. I ended up going with all new door trim and windshield trim, but it ran me over $1,000 for the set. The original trim was too far gone, and even though I could have repainted it, a lot of the rubber on it was ruined from all the years of sun and weather. And I figured I've done too much work at this point to cut some corners on some trim. Once I had the door molding, I did the small roof trim that connects to the hatch. The kit comes with all new clips, and then they just place right in. Moving on to the rear of the car now, I started with the rear bumper. It's pretty challenging to line this all up by yourself, since all 12 studs have to line up into the back. But with the bumper on, I could put on some of the jewelry I bought for this car. I bought these brand new OEM JDM taillights. And the installation on the 300ZX taillights is unique in that you have to use this black taillight goo. This seals it up and then you bolt it in from the back. I popped in the passenger using the same method, and now it's time to finish it off with the center panel. But before we show these lights off, we have to get the wing on. The first step was to install the third brake light. Unfortunately, there are no mounting points on this replica wing, so I just used some wood screws to secure it in place. And then there's this massive opening on the trunk for the OEM wing that we have to fill. At first, I thought I'd be a genius and use this non-wing third brake light as a dummy to fill it in, so I chopped it to size using my Dremel, but it was immediately obvious that it was too thick. So I went with the most sensible option and covered it with some waterproof flex tape. With all that taken care of, I prepped the freshly painted wing with some alcohol, and then I applied some 3M VHB tape. I put it along all the different contact areas, and now is time for the moment I've been avoiding. Brandon was overworking and he helped me line it up, and we got the rear bolts in, and then we pressed it down and pulled the rest of the tape backing off. And for the first time since I started this project, it was really starting to look like a Z again. With all that done, we can finally complete the interior of the trunk area. I got the windshield washer fluid reservoir back in, and then I installed the rear side markers. A lot of these interior panels were already damaged over the years, so I had to plastic weld some of the tabs and parts back on. While that dried, I put back the hatch trim along the edges, and then I put the rear interior panels to finally complete this trunk. And lastly, I put a new rear wiper onto the car. The only thing left before we can take this car to the wheel shop really is the still-in body kit. I first drilled the mounting holes on the front of the side skirts, then I wiped everything down with IPA. I'm using this 3M adhesion promoter. You break the vial and then you just wipe it on anywhere the tape will go, and it helps the 3M tape stick really well. First I made sure it was lined up, and then I pulled the backing off the tape and pressed it into place. I also got the door fillers to make them sit flush with the side skirts, and I used virtually the same process to install them. Obviously, we're not going to leave those beat up stock wheels on, so it's a little early for the hero shots. And I know I've been teasing these wheels for a while, but you guys are not going to be disappointed. So I took it on its maiden voyage to Element Wheels in Chandler, Arizona. They spec'd me the perfect wheels for my Porsche 997 project and had them powder coated in this bronze, so I knew I had to work with them again on the Z. Months back, I ordered some T37 reps off Alibaba, and I brought them to Element to get inspected and mount up some tires. They're finished in a diamond silver, and I went with 18 by 9.5 in the front and 18 by 10 in the rear. They installed and road force balanced the tires, and they balanced out great. We jumped into installing them and were immediately met with bad news. The hub bores were really tight, and this is something you deal with when you order these Chinese reps. So we took a file to the hub and scraped it down a little bit, and we were able to get the wheels on. It was a bit sketchy, but they fit, and I was really happy with how they were looking. We got the rest of the tires on, and we got the car on the ground, and I was in disbelief. When I first brought this car home, I honestly didn't know what I was getting myself into. Every step of the way, it fought me. Nothing came easy. But somewhere between the late nights and all the setbacks, this build became more than just a car. It became a reminder that life's kind of the same way. It doesn't hand you progress, it makes you earn it. Some days it feels like you're moving backwards. But if you stay patient, if you keep showing up and putting in the work, one day you look up and the thing you've been chasing is finally sitting right in front of you. This project pushed me, and it taught me that diamonds are in the mud. That's just how life is. Your vision lives in a place only you can reach. People might doubt it, but that's only because they can't see that far. And if you're wondering what's next for the channel, there's still a few things to button up on the Z, the Porsche, and yeah, the Ferrari's down bad right now. So make sure you subscribe, see where we go from here, and I've got a feeling we're just getting started.